This is Joanne Dragonheart in a filtered view. Given the level of cyberstalking that's going on in my life, and the fact that I don't have makeup on today, and I've been crying, I'm being rather mindful about how much access I'm giving the world. But I want to capture this moment, this moment of understanding. I have been the subject of cyberstalking. It's been going on now for 9 years. It started relatively small, not that there's any acceptable level of cyberstalking, but it has, as per the FBI's description of cyberstalking and the curve that it follows, it has escalated in accordance with that curve. And my continued existence is just constantly under siege. I changed my phone number, I changed my phone, I changed my email address, I've left my Twitter behind for now, I've left my Facebook behind for now. I've taken all the suggestions that were thrown out by the supposed experts in the field, and all that's happened is that I've surrendered my life, and I'm not surrendering my life anymore. This is now to the point where the FBI has asked me to write a report and submit it to them via a particular resource. That report will probably take about 2 months to write because I have to just cover 9 years of history and try and make sense out of 9 years of history on 3 people whom I believe to be psychopaths. I cannot diagnose, I'm not diagnosing, but their behavior is consistent with what I know about psychopathy. And there's no other explanation for their behavior and their obsession. I have done nothing to hurt any of them other than continue to exist. And in their mind, apparently that's enough. One of these people is my spouse. She's hiding from me. I had her address to have her served. She's been gone for 5 years. And she's so not part of my life anymore. But her feeling seems to be if she can't have me, then nobody can. And I do have a new relationship in my life that I'm very happy about, actually. It is possible to experience joy while you're in pain or while you're afraid. In fact, if you're in pain or you're afraid, I highly encourage you to find joy where you can. And the truth that I'm registering today in a big way is no matter how bad it gets for me, no matter how scary it gets for me, no matter what happens in terms of my own situation and how challenging this is, it will always be worse for them. Always. Because they are stewing in their own vitriol. They are the products of their own rage. They truly believe the world is a place that is all about, it's either you're with them or you're against them. And if you're not in their tiny, tiny circle of psychopathy, then the entire world, everything else is against you from that very skewed and fucked up perspective. And so no matter how bad my day may get, it will always be worse for them. And I actually experience deep compassion as I think about that. What an incredibly painful place to exist. And it just stuns me to think about that much pain in anyone's heart. To have that much vitriol and anger. Underneath that is always pain and fear. They're wounded, lashing out at the world. I can't have the same compassion for them that I say I can for a wounded human child, because I have come to believe, and this is controversial, I don't believe psychopaths are human. I believe they are a coexisting species that looks similar to humans. Psychopaths are incapable of empathy. Empathy, in my opinion, is a central tenet of being human. If you do not have empathy, you are not human. So these are living beings, kind of like Komodo dragons. They don't have empathy either. They're living beings. Would I jump into an enclosure with them and run around with them? No, that would be stupid. But I do have compassion for their limited habitat and so on. Now, I wish there was a habitat somewhere where psychopaths could go and play their little psychopath games on some secluded island that has top-notch security. Once you get there, once you've been assigned to live there, that's where you live, and you play out your psychopath games with those psychopaths and leave humanity alone. It would be a nice experiment to try. It's certainly an interesting thought experiment. Psychopaths would go nuts if they didn't have a fresh supply of innocent people to victimize. People who will give them the benefit of the doubt until they know better. It's fascinating to watch from a sociological perspective, but horrifying to experience when you're a person that is giving and trusting, and you've had every aspect of that side of you just taken advantage of again and again and again. It's disgusting. And it's also challenging to turn it around and shake it off and, remind yourself that not everybody is an animal like that. Not everybody is a psychopathic beast. Psychopaths are a different kind of animal. They're not humans. They're not a human animal. They're a psychopath. And no, I'm not diagnosing, but I do know that the behavior of these individuals, for my purposes, for the purposes of trying to figure out how to strategize and how to respond, how to counter the threat of these people in my life, their behavior matches up rather well with what I know about psychopathy. And I've done a fair amount of reading about how to deal with psychopathic stalkers. And there's good advice out there, including from the FBI. They're the top experts, and the FBI has instructed me to send a detailed written report to them, which will take some time, probably about 2 months to compile. And the challenge of it, too, is that as I try and compile it, it will be either changed or deleted if I do it digitally. So I have to do it offline or in a way that cannot be hacked. That's an ongoing problem with every aspect of my life. Every time I try and do anything, you think about what you do in a day, and it's backed up to the cloud. You back about, your contacts are backed up. You're this, you're that. It's all integrated. Well, that works great if it's working for you. But if it's been hacked, and it consistently will be hacked until the feds swoop in and do something on the Google server level and the mobile carrier level. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if these people have NORAD on a desktop a shortcut on their desktop. I joke, but I'm not joking all that much. These people have no lives, and it is their one and only, occupation to practice their nefarious skills on someone who wants only to exist in the world and to share what I've learned and to share the central truth that where there is life, there is hope. And where there is life, there is love. And when you have love, you can do anything. I've transcended so much that people will tell you you can't. I'm here to tell you you can. And these other individuals simply cannot and will not deal with this truth until the time comes that it's, when they see me making my way in the world despite what they're doing, I know it makes them crazed. They're already crazy, but it makes them crazed. And sorry.